like pirates. She likes the bad boys.
That's what I want to ask. Why did you like the bad boys?
Every girl likes the bad boys. It's just something in our DNA. We can't resist a bad boy. Did you hear?
Don't create anything.
What'd you say?
Oh, we got something.
You're in my grid.
What do you got going on in yours? You got to tell me something.
No, I just had remain for a very long time, and now I got smell.
What was the name?
No, it's
Do
just
I
the word
smell?
remain.
Remain's done all right.
That's why I was like, oh, cemetery.
Alright, let's head over to the wall. Let's kind of see what we got going on over there. YZ. That's a zipper, I think.
D. It likes D. YZD, YZD.
So, here's what I'm excited about. A couple of things. First off, the NT that showed up on the little Ouija board guy is a great possibility. It's relative to Nicholas Trott. His cottage is on the other side of this powder magazine. So the other thing that we had was a do not that showed up on the SB11. Again, we don't get much out of that guy, so when we do, we got to pay attention. He was going kind of near where these bushes are. I've had psychics on this tour in the past, and they all see the same soldier standing by this particular set of bushes. What's weird is that they actually see a very dark blue uniform, and we are in the South. Should be great if they're talking Civil War times. So, and just so you guys know, that speaking of the Civil War and blue and gray uniforms, the blue is made from indigo. That's what makes it blue, and the gray is just less indigo. That's what makes it gray. So, just to kind of put things in perspective. So those are the two main things that I'm excited about. Again, first-hand clues of things that I can maybe attach to if I spot check and see what I'm finding for in the morning. As far as the answers go, picture pages time. So Anne Bonny, her picture, the one I'm going to show you, is one of the few you can find of her with a shirt on. The reason why is because she used to bare breasts to show men that they were just killed by a woman. So, again, kind of a badass chick, right?
Oh, man.
So, the names of her parents, William Cormack, Mary Brennan. None of you were expecting a secondary Mary, because we had Mary Reed, the friend/lover from the ship. So again, Mary Brennan was actually a servant of William Cormack's. It was an affair. It was a big, giant scandal. So, I won't even get into that, because that's a whole nother tour all by itself. I also like to show you what Calico Jack looked like, because this is literally what they based your Disney character off of, or who, shouldn't say what, but he was named Calico Jack because of the jackets he wore. It came from the British captains that he killed. So fancy jackets, Calico Jack. That's where the name comes from. So his full name is John Calico Jack Rackham. So very interesting. The name of his ship was called the Kingston. I don't necessarily expect Kingston to come through on a radio station. However, it can come through on the SB11 or through some of the white noise on the red ones. As far as Kingston, the word king would also suffice here. We don't often get that answer. So again, that's why I kind of throw that question at you to see when and if it'll actually show up. So this was our last stop, and I think that surprised some of you, because some of you wanted to keep on going. But at this point, like, I think we have, this is about average of what I normally find in real time, just so you guys have that inkling of thought. I don't think we had a whole lot of connection to Anne here tonight, but again, we have a Nicholas Trott reference, and again, I'll see what I find when I'm going through your data. Something else might be relative to Calhoun that we spoke of earlier, that kind of mentality. How many pictures did you get for us?
Oh, I don't know, several.
A couple hundred?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. So, again, you're going to get all of this data back. Quick recap. You're going to get all of the media. I'm going to stop the audio in a second. So, I just checked it because she was worried about, like, how much time we were actually out here. I'm like, it's been almost 2 hours. I'm pretty sure. I will time it. It is what it is. But you're going to get 2 hours of that. Probably about an hour and a half on the IR camera. Probably a good hour and 15 minutes based on how much he was actually capturing. I think Jim was actually doing more than you, so we'll kind of see how that plays out. But total, you're probably going to get, again, 8.5 to 9 hours worth of data. And again, all of the reading I'm going to give you probably have a 15-hour workday ahead of you. So that's what you guys paid for. Like, that's how the, you know, what you guys are going to get back. So hour and 58 minutes. I swear I don't time this. I usually end between 1:55 and 2 hours with a group of 10. So again, it's not that it's time, it's a matter of the activity slowed down and we moved on. That's kind of the mentality that I keep. I'm not staring at my watch all night. I don't have anywhere to be. So here's why can't we go? Because I have a life decision. Oh, yeah.
There's that.
There is that. So your data, I start working on it in the morning, and I'm usually done with it by noon. If I have to deep dive into some kind of history because it's something I've never seen or heard before, it usually takes me about 1 o'clock. Most of you will be doing Charleston things anyway. It is a very busy holiday weekend. But at this point, I'm going to start collecting your devices, and you guys can ask me a million more questions if you'd like. Very attentive group. Did I really explain everything that well that you have absolutely no questions whatsoever?
What's the strangest thing you've seen on these tours?
On my tours or in my investigations?
The latter, I guess.
So overall, I would say my most interesting case was the Flight 93 Memorial in Shanksville. So Pennsylvania, that's where the 9/11 plane crashed. So I basically just had all my gear running, and I'll take your crazy camera.
I'm having fun.
I know. But you got us some good footage. We'll be good.
It could be a black dark.
We were saying how we like.
Thank you, ma'am.
We like the license
he's
plate.
Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, that's why you love it.
Yeah.
You're drawn to it.
I don't mean to disrupt.
No, you're fine. We're in your way. Sorry.
We'll move.
Molly, you know what? It gives more space for them. They're probably like, thank God this guy's out of this space. You might find some other people like,
Nothing coming through at all?
Not really. I really like
How many, do you know,
several.
What was the name of this ship?
Couldn't get it, but I got several.
I'm in the middle of it right now. Steve Bonnet's at the beginning. He was Charleston.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I said yeah.
Yeah, Steve
I got
Bonnet,
goosebumps
sugar
again.
plantation owner, like he-
That was cool.
Oh, okay.
That was really cool.
how did they fix the building?
They didn't
Get out
fix it, they
now.
need to fix it. They installed
What
it.
did it sound like she said?
Wanna go over there?
Sure.
I heard the yeah too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, Allison and David Quincy.
I'm gonna go right here. I don't care. Over here.
I think I want to use the red one.
Can't really see the grid because of the light.
That's okay.
You can see more with the green. There's a lot of ghost tours.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I want to ask? Let's see. Stop. I'm going to ask the question right now. Does it bother you that we have all these people here talking about you? And see if something comes up on Travis's spirit box. Because I asked the question over here. And he doesn't know our question.
Oh, that's a good question. Good idea.
She was quite the little slut, wasn't she? I don't care. I'm speaking the truth about her. Because he said she went through 4 guys. In that time, it was probably unheard of. She's our kind of girl.
Apparently she went through a girl too.
All right. Bill and Al.
Well, there we go.
Okay, his Jeep lights are bothering me. So remember that question I said? Because I'll forget it.
Other people might have gotten it.
Yeah. What?
He told me this. You know, I told you I said I was going to go over there towards the bushes, towards the building.
Yeah.
And I said, do not. Beside us, someone said that there was a soldier or something that stands guard there. And they said, don't go over there because it wasn't safe.
Come on, don't you hear dangerous?
I said, I asked if I should go over there. He said, do not.
So what was the convo over there with the muggles?
Well, his license plate said Dark Side, and we're all Star Wars buffs, so it was.
And they were just like, what are you guys doing? This is so awesome.
It's usually like when the muggles
I was
start
gonna give
asking
you
questions.
a sales pitch. You know, so you should go do the tour.
So normally they'll come up to me afterwards and I'll give them a card, but again, I'm not that sales pushy guy. Like if somebody's like
That's true, because
stopping
we
you guys
just
like,
did
what the hell are we
research
doing?
and
Found you.
Oh yeah.
We thought it was, you had the coolest looking one.
well, you had the most authentic one.
Yeah.
I told you we get leave over from Philadelphia Alley. His fiance was named Amanda. The stones were a little far away from Lodge Alley for me to kind of count that, but again, if something else pops up, he just heard Joe's.
Did you tell him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was really cool too.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna explain that too. Any of the letters coming up?
Does it matter if I got Jamaican reggae?
Did you hear Jamaican reggae, or you heard the type of music?
The type of music.
I'm almost gonna call that subliminal at this point.
Alright.
That one's gonna be.
You okay, Mom?
Straightening my back. It's been a lot of walking.
I know my back's kind of hurting me too, so. Oh yes, I want to ask him something.
About this, I would prepare with some like water.
I don't think we have that much longer. What did you hear?
Asked if I should try to get past the guard again. And I thought it said don't, but I couldn't do it.
Is there anything you want to tell me?
Is there anything you want to tell me?
Is there anything you would like to say?
I would like to say morning.
This is it. We're done. There's water in the vending machine across the street, he said. If you want out,
Yeah. So. Yeah.
that's what you heard?
Yeah, that's what it said. If you want out.
Just go. Huh. I wonder if it's pertaining to my marriage.
three nicks that are relative to this location. Me being the first
When you
one.
say that
The
again.
second one is
No. It just said something like little, like a small voice.
His cottage is on
Something like a soft voice.
When you say that again, I didn't hear
The
you.
name Nick shows up here a lot. The first night we were using that, we
Can
had
you
three
repeat that?
things show up almost instantly. So it's
Not if that's what?
Not if that's. That's the thing to do.
What date?
Yeah. What day is it?
What day is it?
Yeah.
It's September 3rd to when 222. 2022. What is it?
This guy works the exact same. It's going up to the any type of sense of change. I have the sense of turn all the way up. What do we want very much?
Do you miss your old life?
It's going to stop on a curve, whatever, because it's got a curve along the letters.
Yeah.
She could be in her old life right
Could be in their
now.
old life. But whoever it is could be in their old life.
We are near water. She probably hangs out by the beach. Since she likes shift.
That was 1888, so the phone number of like when you hear those like 1888, call now. Like we get 1888 all the time here. So again, it's not coincidence at all. So we'll kind of see like what's going to go on when I'm listening for your spirit box recordings. But here's why we're here. This is kind of a little bit of a length. We're going to set you guys free after I go through the history here. We're going to be discussing that little tiny building over there. That's the powder magazine. I had the word magazine show up earlier. Those are not crosses, by the way, so those of you not familiar with what earthquake bolts are, those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston put in. In a nutshell, they work as turnstiles, like turnbuckles. If we have another earthquake, you can turn them, and it's supposed to straighten the building back. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. So again, I only bring this up is because that's the first set that they put in, because this is the oldest government building in South Carolina. We are here because of the time frame that this was being built. It's familiar to when Anne Bonnet came here to start the building. So it is basically the same gist as using a toy to attract a child. Same principle. We don't have many buildings this way. Let's get into the story. 1708, a young lady named Anne Cormack moves here from Ireland. She's with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Everybody with me so far? There's a couple of twists in this one. The three of them are running away from his angry wife. So how pissed off was she? Just that you gotta leave your own country. They land in Georgetown, that's just north of here. Dad bought a plantation, mom died pretty quickly. So he has to send young Anne down here to sell anything from the plantation, keep things afloat.
How old was Anne?
Anne was probably about 8 or 9 years old. Correct. They say back home in Ireland, she actually killed one of her servants when she was only a child with a knife to the belly. I'm telling you this because I want you to have that mentality of this young lady as we go through her entire story.
Sounds like she was asleep.
A little bit. Fast forward. Building's done in 1713. Pirates were coming through town in 1715. Anne is stoked because she wants to get her freedom, just like a man. So she falls in love. First guy. Yes, I'm going to keep tally. Here's a handful. His name is James Bonnet. And I already see where this one's going because we've already mentioned Anne's full name. Dad didn't approve because he was a pirate. They run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bonnet. This guy is not the Captain Jack Sparrow that she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. He's a spy for the British. This is not who she wanted. He's a coward. Years later, she falls in love again. This guy's name is John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. This is literally the Captain Jack Sparrow she was looking for, because this is the guy they based your Disney character off of. Calico Jack has his own ship. Anne wants to be part of it. Can't put a girl on a crew. Does anybody know why?
Minority.
Nope.
There's something about spirits and
Bad
she's
luck.
cursed.
Right. Females are bad luck on a pirate ship. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy, you can be part of the crew, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy apprentice back home in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's like, whatever, it's a man's world, I'm a pirate, let's go. We're all adults here, put two and two together. Being female in his quarters, she's eventually going to get pregnant. You cannot have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. And then Jack let her on the ship. So he drops her off in Cuba. We'll have the baby over here. These are friends of mine. They'll help you out. Come back later. We'll figure it out together. She goes and has the baby, but returns with no child. We have no idea what happened to the baby. No amount of research will tell me. But she comes back dressed as a female. This makes Jack pretty angry. And while she was gone, giving birth to his child, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. Anne's going to go flirting with the pirate crew to make Jack even more mad. That's what Anne does. We're on guy number 3, in case you guys lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy. Be part of the pirate crew the Calico Jack just captured. Now we have 2 females dressed like males on the same pirate ship. Her name was Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed. What'd you get?
An arm.
We will get bleed over from Philadelphia out of here too. So we'll see if an R or an I comes up after that. But her and Mary become friends, possibly lovers. We're never going to know for sure. But the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take on one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are the only pirates not drunk enough to come up and fight with their 1-bullet flintlocks. Probably because they don't know how to use the cannon. Obviously, they're going to get taken. So as they're being arrested, Anne looks at her captain, her bow, Calico Jack, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." The word dog shows up here a lot. The judge, he has the same name as me, so when you guys see or hear that, it's usually relative to him. He wants to see the 2 men that fought back by themselves after he's already tried it on Calico Jack and drunk pirates that were fight. Anne and Mary go in front, reveal their gender. He doesn't care that they're female. He's still going to hang them because they're still pirates. We plead our bellies, was the last thing they shouted, because you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still here in Charlestown area with all of his Irish money because he was an attorney back home, and bails her out, brings her back home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary Reed, and has 4 kids and dies at the age of 83. Yes, very abrupt ending. You guys weren't expecting that break. You guys all looked at me like, holy shit, that's it, it's over. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died a year later, 1721, in the Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. I only left out 2 questions out of this whole thing for you Spirit Box folks that you can work with wherever you want to here. Again, I tried to make something factual out of pirate lore. We do capture evidence a lot when it does occur, or we get absolutely nothing. The 2 questions I left out are the names of Anne Bonny's parents. This is the name of her father and his mistress. The other thing I left out was the name of Calico Jack's ship. Obviously, I didn't mention that at all, besides the fact that we had one. Here's what we're going to be doing. Those of you with cameras and lasers, if you want to go to the front of the powder magazine to get some footage, you can do that. Hang on, because there's more space as you can go. You can do that. However, keep your lasers on the front lawn only. Those are apartments. You go any higher than the front lawn, you're going to be shining in somebody's living room, as far as the lasers go. Keep in mind, there's a lot of tours out tonight. Just wait your turn. They're going to be gone in a minute or 2. The other spaces we can go to with cameras is over by that sign that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. So I'm going to actually go over there by that brick wall by the powder magazine, and you guys are going to investigate, because I think you guys all have enough training to know what the hell you're doing by now. Does anybody have anything on the 2 readables? I'll call it that. So the Ouija board and the digital list. Do we have anything on there that's notable before we spread apart?
Hannah, food, scared, Kyle, lonely, teenager, cluster.
We're asking about her age.
I had messages.
I'll think on that one. Chris, as far as your device, it's all about the antenna. So you're not going to expect a whole lot of numbers. So Steve, that goes for yours too. He's off in the distance. Don't expect any numbers over here. It's probably going to be false positives from the electrical poles. But it's all about when you turn that antenna on, ask her hair color. We normally get that direct red. This is one of the spaces where I actually get that. So again, yeah, it's normally about her hair color over here. And she has given it to us from people like somebody will
Is
come
that
up.
why she keeps messing with me because I have red hair?
Find out.
If it's not, somebody did this.
You feel a lot of spider webs over here too. Like that's a lot of.
But I'm standing right here.
From this location. But yeah, just be mindful of the vehicles. Let's spread out. Get those spirit boxes cranked. Let's see what we can find.
Bestie,
Hi.
what you doing?
Where's the lawn?
He's talking about this.
Huh?
I think he's talking about this, right? Because this is the powder room.
The license plate says dark side. That's fucking hilarious.
Mm-mm.
Something walked through it.
As we enter the parking lot, it's going to be a great opportunity to take a photo of the place that's inspired as we get closer. So if you guys want to look like you guys can do that. But you guys can see those little
May I ask what you're doing? Because that looks really cool.
We are shining a laser and she's recording it to see if something walks past us.
Oh, because of the whole ghost tour.
Yeah.
You're a ghost chaser?
Or we're with a tour.
Yeah. So they give you those and they're like to be on the lookout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have speaker boxes over there and thermal cameras.
Got it. Super fun. I'm excited. And
creepy.
honestly, it's
You ever
legit
seen
though.
anything?
We've caught some voices and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, it is legit. Like, there's no doubt. Yeah. Wow. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh, you're fine. Am I in your way?
Just this car, right?
Well, we're gonna do the
I hear the spirit boxes going up. That is so beautiful. Look at it.
You're right over there?
I fell earlier, so my ankle
You
hurt.
should do that.
Rolled her
That's
ankle.
That's not good.
Fall on air.
You guys seen
Fine.
all the giant groups that we just passed through?
Yeah, they were all checking out our tools.
Yep.
They're jealous.
So,
They don't move over. That's not nice.
They were rude.
this whole corner right here from Philadelphia Alley over, like this is a very popular tour spot. And you're going to notice too when we start to spread out that every tour actually stops at St. Philip's. I let them have it. It's their one big show and tell. I am going to tell you the quick story, the quick version of it, just because again, you kind of need to know if you're on a ghost tour of any type to actually know the story because it's a legend around here. There's two different sides to St. Philip's Cemetery. There's an eastern side. If you're a native to Charleston, you can be buried over there. If you're not a native, you come to this side. That's why John Calhoun was buried on this side, just because he's not from here. He just lived here for a very long time. They actually shuffled his ass back and forth, trying to figure out where the hell he was supposed to go. I think it was 3 or 4 times. He started over there, but he ended up over here.
Yeah,
this side is
that wouldn't be a good smell.
he's a sarcophagus, so it took about 8 men to pick him up and bring him on over. So Charles Pinkney, that we talked about earlier, the husband and the nephew are buried across the street. They're native to Charleston. So again, sometimes we'll get clues relative to the nephew, not so much the husband. He will talk more about Eliza, which is weird. And it's usually only during certain times of the year. But they all go to that side, the native side, because there's a sign right inside the gates that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. There's a reason for that. So if you're not from here, you haven't seen it before, let me explain. 1888, a young lady dies by the name of Sue Howard Hardy. I stop and say her name slowly because her initials will show up all the time for us. Sue Howard Hardy. It's cheesy, it's campy, I hate telling you, but we find it on our devices all the time. She dies 6 days after her stillborn child. Very sad story. In 1987, 99 years later, local photographers taking pictures of all the cemeteries putting together a book. It captures a full apparition in one of his photographs.
Really?
It's 1987. It doesn't have the tech that we have now, so you have to send it to Kodak. I don't think I have to explain what Kodak is to this group. That's kind of cool.
No, you don't.
Kodak
I
doesn't.
know it.
Kodak doesn't know what to do with this photograph either.
Is it film camera?
Yeah,
Yes.
film. So I did have those. So.
There's one young in here.
The photograph is, Kodak has no idea what's going on with this photo. So for guys like me, this is actual evidence. I'm going to go around the room and show everybody the picture. However, it is cursed to females. So they say females that handle it, even in a tablet or digital format like this, is going to get the same symptoms we talked about at the beginning. Headache, nausea, and dizziness. I'm not going to be the guy where 9 months from now somebody had a great honeymoon in Charleston and I cursed their family because they accidentally touched my tablet. I will zoom in on the apparition so everybody can kind of see it a little bit more clearly. Look at you already jumping on it. I'm going to go around the room.
Pushy. Don't be so pushy, pushy.
I'm a boy, I know. So, I'm gonna go 2 by 2. Oh shit.
I need my glasses.
Oh, here.
You're burnt.
No, you need to take the.
Doors, just make sure the camera's on your left first before you hit the record button. This used to be called Jeweler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So we don't talk about one specific duel. I tell the story a little bit differently because you're ghost hunting. It's like a campfire ghost story. Here's how it goes. Doctor moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. She just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of this cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is after her money. He tells Amanda to get rid of that doctor. So Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not just after her money. As he's coming into town, the coachman set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay in Charleston.
Wow.
So, here's what happened from there. Somebody was walking by, a local, that knew the coachman, and went up to the doctor. By the way, that guy that was walking by, his name is Ralph Isaacs. He has the same initials as where the doctor came from. Ralph Isaacs, Rhode Island. R.I. used to show up here even before our Ouija board that we had. So again, he used to show up on your spirit boxes all the time. He tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy's going to try to kill you. There's a gunman inside. Stay with some friends of mine at 59 Church Street and you'll be safe. Dr. Ladd takes him up on this offer and the two guys become friends. The longer the doctor stays down here, the more money he's making and proving that he's not after Amanda's cash. So that means Amanda's moving down soon so they can get married. Dr. Ladd becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you will ever visit in the future will have a cliche whistling ghost. It's a guarantee. There is proof of this one specifically. I'll get to that. Him and Ralph go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because Dr. Ladd makes more money than him. He gets better seats. That's just the way the hierarchy went in Charleston. They talk about the play on the way home. It was Richard III. They're arguing over the new actress. Dr. Ladd thought she was fantastic, Ralph not so much. It gets even more heated when Ralph is insulting Dr. Ladd's fiancée Amanda back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways after the argument. Ralph, being from here, goes to his friends at the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Disgrace to society kind of mentality. Dr. Ladd sees the ad in the paper and rebuttals with, let's go to Jeweler's Alley. We're going to settle this. So they come down, they take their 10 paces, they turn. The doctor pointed his gun in the air and he shot. He did not want to kill his friend. He just needed the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. Ralph has his one bullet, puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. So he drops to the ground, his friends pick him up, carry him home to 59 Church Street where he dies 10 days later. He refused medical treatment, probably because he's a doctor. Probably tried to bleed it out himself. A lot of the stories will tell you that the second best doctor came in to try to heal him and couldn't do it. But again, the research that I've gone through multiple times shows that he refused all medical treatment.
I've got a piece of metal in my mouth right now.
Interesting.
And I have the word carrier.
Carrier? As we were talking about carrying him out of here. The campfire part of this, guys, is that as you walk through the alley, you can hear the whistles from the doctor. Normally, when I used to take my groups all the way through, it was all about the voice recorder. You would listen in to see if there was anything there. Keep in mind, if you're going to do this on your own, and I know some of you live nearby, and you're going to come down again, every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland Street or Queen Street on this side throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every single night. We're going to end up the road, and my garage is that way, so I have to pass the alley. So, I do it every night. Even when my daughter's on the tour, we race to see who's going to throw the whistle first. It's just a little game we play. So here's how I got booted out of here. Another little tidbit of history. I used to go all the way through to show off the bricks at the other side. This alley didn't always go through this one. So it was kind of a dead end, which means those bricks are older. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. Full handprint right at the end of the alley and fingerprint swipes from those sun-dried bricks. I'd always show them off because I'm sure you guys have figured out that I'm all about the history. But I treat that brick the same way I do a grave. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. However, my groups of 10 always wanted to huddle around it, try to get a reading, hear something on the spirit box. Again, I'm trying to shoot people along every single night. November 26th of 2020, my entire group of 10, this size, wanted to huddle around that one brick to try to get a reading. It's outside the dining room window of a beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. The gentleman that owned the mansion came out screaming. He was not very happy with me. My daughter thought it was great because Dad's getting yelled at. So, we left. We moved on. London. We moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I didn't have a tool. Friday, November 28th. Yes, these dates are relevant. I'm getting to it. I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do, or to reroute my group. I didn't feel like it was fair for my group of 10 to work around 20 to 60 other people. So I rerouted my group and told them, basically I didn't believe in the pirate story that I was about to tell them, which wasn't much. Before we left, somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box. I did not tell them that I was going to be telling them about Anne Bonny, the famous female pirate. So I thought, okay, maybe we'll actually get something out of this. We go up there, somebody else hears the number 300. I didn't know what that meant until I did the research the next day. We were there on November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300-year anniversary of her pirate trial. Wow. I'm a vampire guy through and through, which means I didn't know much about pirates. I read and watched more about pirates in the past 2.5 years than I ever wanted to. So again, keep that in mind. Everything we're about to go through with the female pirate Anne Bonny, it's a hit or miss. We never know what's actually going to happen. What's funny is the word red is actually relevant there, which is why I was confused why we were getting it so early. And we had the word magazine at the same time, right? So it was about a few minutes earlier.
She knows we're coming.
What's that?
Are you sneak?
We are kind of sneaking in here right now.
Okay.
Because again, if the neighbor at the end kind of recognizes me, there'll be another phone call. So it is what it is. But again, have fun down here. When you come down on your own with your voice recorders, listen in and kind of see what's going on in the background. It will be very, very faint.
Does a cell phone app work?
As far as the voice recorder?
Yeah.
I mean, any voice recorder will work.
Okay.
So most people don't carry one like me. They have the ones on their phone.
Right.
So
Now, behind you, is that a cemetery?
kind of. Let me explain what this gate is. So there's a reason why I like to stop here. In the event that there was a loser to a duel, which wasn't always the case, this was the shortcut to get to St. Philip's Cemetery. Otherwise, remember, the alley didn't go all the way through. They have to go down to Queen Street and walk all the way around with the dead weight. This was much easier. You cut over the courtyard and you go over to St. Philip's Cemetery.
Is this the original
Gate? No.
brick?
Brick, yes. Gate, no. So, again, not a lot of people know why this gate is actually here, so it's an interesting little fun fact that I don't even know where I found it at, but I was like, I'm adding that. Like, that is so cool. So, we're going to go up and talk about crazy female pirates, unless anybody's heard anything, or you got something on your Ouija that we
I got an X and a G.
Yeah, I don't know any Xavier's named George. Eric, you got anything on yours? Jasmine, anything on yours? Okay, and yours is on mute. So, all right, let's head up to the Crazy Powder magazine, and let's go see what we can talk about with this crazy pirate lady.
Oh, I was getting there.
Lasers at the wall, except for when people are coming by. Excuse us. How are you? So literally pointing directly at the wall. There you go. So what you're going to be doing is you're going to head. There you go. Perfect. Basically, we're looking for motion in between that laser. So if anything shows up during the time we're here, we'll capture on camera. When we crossed that last crosswalk, and I know that was a long trek, so my apologies. It is a Saturday night. It doesn't usually take that long. But that was where the original Charlestown walls used to be. You're standing on one of the first streets we ever had. So the cool thing is that I actually have the full list of residents of every person that's ever lived out here. You guys normally tell me the same two names every 6 to 7 weeks. You guys normally give me the names Benjamin and John. So here's the weird thing about that list. Don't be so impressed that I have a lot of those names memorized, because it's not a lengthy list. Only 2 to 5 people live down here at a time. Benjamin and John both lived here at the same time, 1801. John liked to give us his last name because there were 4 different Johns that lived here in a 60-year time span. John's last name was Johnson. John Johnson. His mother must have been evil. Just putting that out there. As far as that goes, we'll get all 3 of those names in that 6 to 7 week list. Where are we in the loop? Week 2. I'm not necessarily expecting you guys to get Benjamin and John, but I never know. Because again, it keeps changing on me. And now we're starting to look at the moon phases and temperatures and those kind of things to see what the conditions need to be. Here's the other weird thing. You guys will also give me a 3rd name. Every once in a while, the name Jane will pop up from one of you guys. That's a 3rd person out of 5 that lived here in 1801. I do not find a coincidence that I get all of those names in the same night, and you guys don't have no idea where the heck you're at. Before people lived here, well, let me, explain why we're getting those same names over and over again. We're talking about the stone tape theory here. What does that mean? You're standing on Belgian blocks. These bricks have been here since at least 1739 that we know of. There's going to be somebody walking by us watching here. So the historians can't even pinpoint the exact year that these bricks were laid. These bricks are made of granite. They're not supposed to have any type of EMF to them whatsoever. So at times we will get pretty high readings above 1.1. Excuse us, how are you?
Fantastic.
You? So, Chris, I'm actually going to have you place, don't worry about the motion sensor, just place your device on any grip you choose, as long as it's dry. It should be, because I don't think the rain like really downpour down here today. I mean, you can set it down and bounce it all over. We're looking for anything above 1.1, because that's natural EMF from the earth. I see a 5 at this point. Am I reading that right? 5.8. That's actually good. I've seen it go all the way to 15 in this location. I know we had a 37 on the Hickey Mansion site tonight, but a 15 in this location is actually pretty high readings. So he's got a 5.8. Where are you at now? Yeah, we're going to let it sit there for a few minutes. Looks like it's growing, so we'll kind of see what's going on with that. Not necessarily. You have the color red on it? The other piece that goes on down here is relative to what was here before the people that lived here. The Freemasons had a Masonic lodge here. Freemasons. Interesting.
And H.
But I'm definitely going to write down FM Freemasons. We will get terms relative, obviously, to Freemasons. We'll get sometimes those red spirit boxes will give us the word Illuminati. Now, you guys will normally hear that on your way into the location. I find it very odd because, first off, who the hell's talking about the Illuminati on the radio? That's the first question. Second, why are we only hearing it while we're in this space? So that's the other question. So 6 times last year, so far this year, 3 times that has actually occurred, and I verified every single one of them. It's a weird thing to find on radio stations. That's pretty much it for this location. Here's what we're going to go to next. What's our highest number that we have now?
6.6.
I think I wrote down a 6.7. I think
It's just 6.6. Oh, that's 5. Gone down.
Are we supposed to crawl?
What's that?
Crawl?
No, definitely not crawling anymore. The streets are a little rough. The next space we're going to is another alley. However, I can't take you all the way through like what we're doing here. Why? Because you guys have all the blinking lights and the noisemakers and the cameras, and it is considered residential at the end. I'll take a look at it first to see if anybody's actually down there. We may take that one corner because it is kind of a staple for every ghost tour in town. We're going to be hitting those more popular locations that I mentioned earlier. So, Steve, I hope you're taking plenty of pictures for us. We're going to be running into St. Phillips. I'm sure the tourists would love to have some photos of St. Phillips on the next first tour. So, but again, we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood. I'm excited about the FM. I am excited about the 6.7. I think was the highest number we had here. Like, that's pretty good for this location. So you can go ahead and pick up your device. As we exit this alley, we're going to stop your videos because we're going to be cutting through a neighborhood to get to the next alley. We don't record houses the same way we don't record cars. So let's head up to the next alley and let's see what we can capture there. Hopefully we got some motion going on with your camera. That would be really cool.
I didn't see nothing, but.
Well, I've caught orbs down here in the past without.
Really?
Stay behind him because stuff likes to attach themselves to him. Okay. So kind of keep an eye on him. Yeah, please watch where you're going first.
You mean don't trip again?
This is why I wore tennis shoes.
I wouldn't have mattered. I would have tripped anyways.
Well, you might not break a toe.
True.
Cameras.
Any other colors besides green?
No.
Let's see if she'll follow us back here. Come on back this way, guys.
She's like, don't leave me.
A lot of that's probably going to be from your steps.
Said something about slow down a second ago.
Slow down.
Yeah.
It said slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down.
Go back to where you were. Go back to where you were, honey.
Maybe he was talking about the cars, yeah.
don't know. It might have been the fact that I asked 2 or 3 questions real quick too.
Oh, yeah.
So ask
So
a
ask
different
one
question.
and then wait, like count to 100.
I'm trying to think of another one to ask.
Well, then after you ask it, count to 100 before you ask another, because it does take them energy. They have to get the energy up to do it, to speak, to answer you. So we have to be patient on their terms.
Tawny, will you get closer to him?
Yeah.
Babe, will you stop backing up?
Yeah.
Tawny, closer.
Okay. Where's the phone house?
What's your What did it say?
I couldn't tell.
Stand closer to the trap.
It's where the garden's at.
Is that what it said?
Well, I asked where was the garden?
Well, something was put over there.
I can't hear him from here.
Something there.
What?
It sounded like a word there, but it was real fast.
Well, ask it another question.
I don't know what to ask right now. I've read through so much.
Well, ask again.
Okay, where was the garden?
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear nothing.
I heard something. I don't know what it was.
Mute it. I didn't know if it sounded like she said it was a female voice, and I don't know if it sounded like if she said old or there or something. It started to, she said something, but then the fire truck drowned her out.
Old or something.
Something
old.
Yeah. Apparently people like talking to us. Because we're the cool group. No, I don't know why.
37.4.
We figured it out.
Alright.
How do you change it to red?
You don't. It's the other one is red. That one is. But you have to point it down at all times.
Okay.
You just flip
and
the
where's
switch on the
button?
side.
There's a switch. Right here. Oh, that's the switch?
Yep. Keep it pointed down because apparently it's
Well, let's wait
considered
for
a
the headlights to go. He's getting some chatter over there.
Mm-hmm. You want to walk around? Where are you going?
Okay, so our car is at Concord and Cumberland. We're going to end up by Cumberland.
Yeah, God's grace is a vanquish one.
Oh, really?
Apparently that's good.
Apparently.
Apparently.
No.
Very boring.
But when we were standing over there, there was a couple of lights. Well, you have to see if something walks through it.
You do.
No, because I can't see your grid.
Yeah,
You can see the grid. I cannot through this camera.
but I think the camera is supposed to show.
The camera is going to capture the apparition,
Yeah.
but you'll see the apparition go through your grid. That's the point of it. Yeah.
So I looked down. Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to keep it.
Oh, Lord. I thought you've seen this before.
Not this. I've never seen this before.
This is on Ghost Adventures.
I don't watch Ghost Adventures.
Oh, you may want to start.
I don't like it.
I went to the Zach Bagans Haunted Museum.
No. I'm more of a Kindred Spirits,
Oh,
Dead Files kind of girl.
okay. Do you want to walk around and I'll follow you?
Yeah. That sounds like my dream job.
You're an asshole.
I am. You're supposed to stay 2 to 3 steps behind me.
I am?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like we look silly right now.
Oh, we definitely do.
Huh. Look at those silly people out there.
Look at those silly people out there. That's a metal detector. I don't know what people are talking about.
We're looking for your wedding ring.
Found it.
Why? You're supposed to be going and I'm following you. You're making me walk backwards. See what?
Right there.
Really? Well, there's nothing above you, so.
So, what I saw was I felt like it flashed. Twice.
At the dot or at the grid anywhere?
At the grid anywhere.
Okay. Stop.
There,
Ooh.
did it again.
I,
Did you see it?
Ooh, yes.
I told you. There.
I just saw an orb.
Yeah, it did it again.
Wow. Hold on.
I saw something.
I know, I did too.
That time you saw it at the same time.
I did.
I'm gonna switch to green here in a minute.
Okay. It seems to like red. Like the red big barn over there. That is a really pretty barn, by the way. And there's some really beautiful horses in there.
I feel like I should have it strapped to my head like a GoPro.
Yeah, you should. Oh, stop. I just saw something. Alright, go. Did you see that?
Yeah. It fades.
I know. It's like bright and then it fades away.
Yeah.
And it's like in this area right here. Because this is where you were before, over here.
Did it again.
I didn't see anything that time. But I need my glasses so I can see better.
On our next walk, I'm gonna hand this to you to hold.
Are we going to switch?
No, I'm gonna grab your glasses.
Oh, okay. We can switch too if you want. At some point, if you want to.
We're gonna switch to green.
I know, but we'll switch utensils if you want. Equipment. So we can both do stuff together.
Okay.
Oh, now I can see the green grid.
I'm gonna walk that way.
I am. What was that? His spirits box going off. Go over there by him. It's catching all the traffic.
Is it?
Yeah.
I got more stuff with the red.
Yeah, you did.
Or it felt like I did.
What'd you get?
Do we reap indigo?
Yeah?
Reaping indigo, I guess. Reaping something.
Talking about. I got more with the red.
Now we're doing 3 Charles and 2 Elizas. Jasmine, as far as yours, anything you want to about Eliza's death, how old she was, where she's buried, what she died from, and what president was involved in that funeral. So again, those are very specific questions that we often get the answers to. And if we get the answer, the full date usually comes along with it. Eric, as far as yours, you are going to go after the children. The children, Mary told you there's one, Charles, right? I don't know there's more. And that's how many, and what their names were. Nothing else. The reason why is that there's a tragedy among those kids. If we poke the bear and start asking what happened to the tragic child, all activity will stop.
We have to stay in one spot for a minute.
As far as yours
Go to your right.
specific device has a whole series of words in it, and I've seen these two guys probably Eliza, we just spoke of, was the same device named Eliza and Charles. Same year, first both guys in jail. And the one we spoke of. So same year. Ironically, how the lady
Can I turn it?
You should have a timer going right now. I normally look at the front of it. So
Well, I need my
as long as
glasses.
it's blinking, we're good.
need
I'll
my
keep
glasses.
checking on it with you.
Okay.
So let's talk about the thermal imaging. You're going to try to do 2 things for us. I know I said just don't film people, but you're going to try to keep one of us in view. We're the warmest thing out here. Much easier to find a cold spot if we have that array of temperatures.
I'm Polish. I'm naturally an oven, so I'm probably pretty hot.
The other thing you're going to try to do.
I'm 110.
You're going
Yep.
to try to
Told
keep
ya.
the sky out of view. The reason why the blue dot
Oh, no,
will
you're fine.
default to the sky because there's no surface. So again, if the sky's in view, it's going to automatically do that. In some places, it's going to be impossible. Just try to do your best.
I know how to feel
All right.
around in a purse.
So lasers and the infrared. So go ahead and point one of your lasers down for me. And Tony, you're not going to be pointing your camera down at it. You're going to be taking 2 to 3 steps backwards because we're looking for something between the ground and her hand. So again, that's a perfect. Yes, we're looking for motion to come through here. That's basically the gist of how YouTube.
And that'll show us that something's moved across
It'll show
it.
up right here, and I'll get that still shot, and we'll see exactly what it was.
Okay.
So again. So before we fully get into like what goes on here, I'm going to further explain those spirit boxes that are using the radio stations and sweeping through FM frequencies.
Oh, sorry.
Those disembodied voices that you all hear on your TV shows, and it gives you some kind of growl, and then they try to convince you of what they actually do. They're not old enough to drink. He has a bartender throw them out. They left pretty pissed off, and they came back the next night and tried to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John saw what was going on. He slammed down his beer and went over and just started beating the hell out of these guys, pounding them right into the floor. A couple of gunshots went off. John got grazed in the neck, but the bullet landed behind him in the wall. He gets up after being the only one that's been shot. He goes back to the bar and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the two guys on the floor, and ambulance. So, irony of the story, nobody died in that story. Normally, if I tell you that a building is haunted, you automatically think of some tragic death. Here's what's haunted. The bullet. Allegedly still here. Even if the new renovation of Big John's filled it in, Big John's blood is now sealed inside the building. Anybody that sits in the front of the bar is usually subject to getting headaches, queasiness, nauseousness, those kind of things. Very light symptoms, which is part of the reason why we started here. We're seeking out paranormal activity, and I don't know how it's going to affect any of you. I can't guarantee that the ghosts are going to do anything tonight because the ghosts are not on the payroll, guys. I can't make them do anything. But if anybody feels any of those symptoms that I mentioned, I'll need to know immediately so we can move the whole group and get that person to safety. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I'm not always going to claim it as something paranormal, but we're always going to blame the heat and humidity first. That's just what we do here. Let's get your mind off of our own health, because that's probably the scariest thing I'm going to tell you all night long. Big John's. If you guys haven't taken other historical tours around town, you haven't heard about the big earthquake that we had here in 1886. This building is allegedly where the first death occurred from that earthquake. Earthquakes are anomalous for us because we're supposed to have hurricanes, not earthquakes. But the white mantle you see in the middle of the building also wraps around the front. A piece of it broke off, struck somebody in the back of the head, and killed them. And so you can see his ghost in the middle of the street in the middle of the night. Keep in mind, I don't have any proof of this story at all, other than hearsay. It's just a great segue, so nobody's thinking about it. Right, Eric's in charge, let me know what happens. No, I'm kidding. With our own eyes. We're going to be using an accompanying item to go along with this to detect any kind of motion. Yes, it's a two-person job. So, with that said, Tani, I think I'm going to go with you on this one. Alright. So, I already have it recording. We're going to do a few starts and stops on yours as well. So, again, nice slow movements, the easier the better.
How do I start and stop?
It is right there. I was going to help you out on the next
one. Okay.
Let's see. Let's make sure I get this in the right set of hands because it belongs to a specific person. So, first off, this is the neuralizer for Men in Black. None of you can remember anything by the time we're done. Yeah, I thought we'd get a couple chuckles. So, lasers. Go ahead and kill your light for me. Let's make it the dramatic effect. So, lasers, the whole point of these is that the camera I just handed over to Tani won't be able to see the lasers till something passes through it. Again, we're going to be able to detect any kind of motion that pops up out of this guy. This one gives us red squares. The reason for red squares, if we capture something here, I'll take the still from the camera and I'll put it in 3D software. And it'll be able to give us a full 3D view of what we caught along with any kind of measurements to go along with it. So, with that said, Jen, I think I'm going to go with you on this one.
Okay.
So, lasers always stay on the ground. This one has a button. You have to hold it to keep it on. You always want to make sure it's touching your toes so you have them in control. This one has a light switch. So once it's on, it's on. So again, you have to be very careful because some people forget and you can flash cars. There is a laser law in Charleston. No pressure. Let's get into spirit boxes. Spirit boxes are, we're going to be using several different styles of spirit box today. If you're unfamiliar with spirit boxes, which a lot of you guys are like nodding your head, like, yeah, I know what the heck's going on here. So, spirit boxes are a way for us to communicate with the dead. So, this one in particular is going to kind of mimic what you guys see on your TV shows and your YouTube videos by playing white noise through the FM radio stations. So, the disembodied voices they give you on TV are kind of a misnomer. Like I don't get 12 per session, right? I only get about 4 or 5 of those per year. So that way, this guy is actually set up to be slowed down. So basically, what's going on here is we're listening for the radio chatter to come through. Any kind of song lyric, DJ, commercial, that's what we're listening for. It's a 50-50 shot. We can tie it to the location of where we are, a person in history we're discussing, or even something going on with one of you. It happens all the time. The cool thing is that the person using it is going to have an earbud in. They're going to be the only person to hear it in real time. So this whole thing, you're going to get the recording of it tomorrow morning. They can play with the volume all they want. It's going to be nice and even Steven for all of you tomorrow. I'm going to spot check it on top of writing down whatever this person hears in real time. So that way you guys get kind of a double whammy before you even get started on it. So Eric, I think this one's actually going to go to you because you haven't said a word yet. Did I get the name right, Eric? Yeah, all right, look at me go. So I don't want earbuds back, they're gross. So you get to keep your own earwax. They're all brand new. I buy them in bulk. The volume is right here at the top, so it's a wheel. It's making sure it's turned down for you. So go ahead and pop in one of those earbuds for me. I used 2 of them. The second one does not record. To get Jasmine's attention, I'm going to give this one to her because this one needs entire good focus.
Got it.
So this one, Jasmine, is not recording, so I'm going to have to rely on you and whatever you hear in real time. So that way I can write it down and put it in everybody's notes. Yep. So again, your earwax is also gross. I don't like this back. Your volume button is turned all the way down. The wheel at the top right here just goes up and down.
I think this young lady would like to talk to you.
Hi. Hey, how are you? This is my friend Amy, everybody. She's the co-host of my podcast. So
When we have one.
when we have one,
When we need to get back to that.
she shows up every now and again and just kind of surprises me. The next spirit box, everybody, is one we don't actually have to listen to. This one is going to give us words from time to time in the center of the screen. So this one's nice and easy. This is going to replace what you guys would see as an obelisk on your TV shows.
Yeah.
An obelisk has about 2,000 words in it. This one has over 9,000 words in it.
Nice.
Yeah, this is the one that
What I was supposed to do.
I'll pull it up.
Hold this down.
Alright, so it's going to get all of those words and terms, and it's going to save them to a list with timestamps. Kind of helps the rest of you on where to watch video, where to listen to Spirit Box recordings, so forth and so on. The last group I did had 92 terms. That's a little excessive for a 2-hour time frame. So I started it off fresh for us. So Andrea, this one's going to go to you. This one's nice and easy. I will come to you when I want to see the word list. You don't have to show me every single word.
I know, but let me see this.
Amy's here and she hasn't seen one of these yet. So this one is brand new to the market, everybody. It hasn't even been used on your TV shows yet. This is basically a digital Ouija board. So in essence, there are letters being flashed across the screen. Any EMF spike will actually make this thing stop on a letter and save it to a full list at the bottom. We're looking for anagrams, full spellings, and any kind of initials that might actually pop through this guy. We're going to start off with just letters. We may move it to numbers from time to time because that's a separate board. So the person using this does not record, so I'll be looking at it periodically to see if there's any kind of messaging in there as far as anagrams, full names, and initials. So I'll be kind of going through this slowly. Yeah. You said Ouija board.
Yeah, I like a Ouija board. Yeah.
We don't.
Yeah, that's a nice easy one.
Yeah.
Alright, last spirit box. So this guy works a little bit differently. It actually scans through both the FM and AM radio stations simultaneously and trying to omit any white noise that may come in between the stations. It's hopefully going to only give us terms in our 2-hour time frame together. So, and that's a rough estimate because I don't time this. We're out here for as long as we're out here. So, this guy, again, only about 10 to 12 terms. This is probably our most accurate spirit box that we actually have. This is about 75% accurate. So the things that come out of this guy are super cool. So I love this. I'm losing names.
Travis.
Travis, yeah. Travis, I think that one's going to go to you, my friend. All right.
Hi, babe.
You look cool with the purse.
I know, doesn't he?
No, I didn't know you were going to leave that in the car.
I thought she was too.
Why would I leave my purse in the car? Somebody could break in the window to get to it.
I'm still trying to learn where everything is. You guys have seen these before on TV, so these are the EMF detectors that they use to basically say that there's way too much sensitivity activity up around. So we use these to try to help debunk things. Sorry, Steve, put me off there for a second. Like, who the heck's waiting back there? So we use these to debunk things. Any kind of electrical wiring, cell phone too close, that kind of thing. Like, that's the way we're going to actually use this guy. Because this is such an easy job, that person is going to be double-fisted. They're also going to be taking random photos for us, and it's a good thing we don't have any teenagers on the group.
He's a photographer.
So,
Not a photographer.
well,
he
again,
likes to
it's a
take
simple
pictures.
point and shoot, so
Yeah.
it's a good thing he's getting both of these. So, I didn't want to give you any kind of communication device, based on the information you already gave me. So,
Yeah,
again,
it's
we're
probably
going to kind of
good.
see on that. So, you're going to actually get both of those.
Why do I have hurt?
I'm going to tell you why you have to work. Once I get through all of these devices. devices.
What's the word?
Hurt.
Hurt. Okay, red. I got it.
All right, so Chris, you're the last one. You seem like you're very technical, so I'm giving you like. Oh, perfect. I picked up on that right away, did I? So basically, this is a millimeter. It has 3 different functions to it. So it has an EMF detection in it, just like the one that I handed over to Steve, but it's in digital format, so it's way higher. 2.5 and higher, I want to know what's going on. We'll debunk things first. The bottom is ambient temperature. In the event Justin actually finds something on his camera, him and I can debunk it or prove it pretty quickly with the ambient temperature at the very top. Last but not least, why everybody wants to use this guy is the motion sensor. In the event something gets close to the antenna, it's going to go off. I'm not touching it right now. I'm touching it now. There's different tones and colors, but you and I are going to discuss that